Welcome to the Shivan library. Northstar Cup 6 is heading to round number 2 and we got a good start with our White Weenie deck. In the first round, the deck pretty much did exactly what we wanted it to do and it just kept rolling forward. Let's just hope we can keep the speed going here on the second round. Here is the deck list that I'm running, and as you can see, we are playing Atlantic Old School this time. If you want a deeper dive on the deck, you can check the first round video where I go over my deck building decisions a bit more. But this is a fairly standard White Weenie. We got the powerful 1-drops, full set of the 2-mana knights, creatures with banding, and 1 Serra Angel to top the curve. Nothing unique in that sense, but I do want to point out the Repentant Blacksmiths, whose protection from red is something I do hope to see matter. In addition to the whole heap of creatures, we run a full set of Crusades, couple of Disenchants, some removal, and then the Land Tax plus Armageddon package. Land Tax is a especially important piece in this deck, and it's something you like to see show up once in most games. Getting the lands out of the way and making sure you get to double spell when needed is vital. Even though this deck does have a couple of expensive, powerful cards, this can be run easily as a budget deck. Just remove the fast mana, add a plains or two, and change the orb to a removal of your choice, and boom, you got a cheap deck. Out of the base cards, I believe Army of Allah is the most expensive card here, and that's only around 15 euros. The sideboard in a deck like this can be very versatile. I've gone with a few of the circle protections, additional copies of removal, both creature and artifact, and then the city in a bottle. The bottle is always nice, but most cases it's just a cheap removal spell for Djinns and Efreets. Not something you truly need here, but it's a nice card to put in if you have it. The reverse damage and Eye for an Eye are my fun addition, and no one expects those cards. You can really surprise people with them, and they are really good when you are racing your opponent. Again, adding some of my own flavor to the deck. And that's the list. Let's head down to the table and see where it takes us this time. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button on your way. They help the channel a lot and tell YouTube to show this video to more people. Alright, it is time to head for the game number 1. My opponent has taken mulligan, but they show up a swamp, which is something I really like to see. Sure, a first turn Sol Ring, not something you want, but knowing that my 8 knights are gonna be useful this round is gonna be a great place to start. 7 Alliance for me works really well, but the scary part is now that they got a lot of mana, what's they're gonna be their first play, and it is a 3-point Mind Twist. Really powerful start, but let's hope I get lucky with this randomizer. Opponent is picking up the cards that are going away and going with the dice this time. Rolling the same stuff over and over, but there's the 3 cards that I have to discard. Ooh, all 3 1-drops. Yeah, something I would have liked to use, but not get to do that. Double spelling next turn probably would have been really good if I get the plains here, like putting in 2 Occasion Javelineers down immediately would have been really good, especially looking at that there is a Mishra's Factory, which is the big enemy of the 7 Alliance. Having the Occasion Javelineers lined up with the token counters on them would be really good, because at point like when they are going to activate and pump the factory itself, you can just throw the javelins at it and deal 2 points of damage getting rid of it. So my opponent's basically having to make a choice, like, do they want to trade with the lion or get rid of my javelin counters for the javelineers? And there is a Priest of Yawgmoth. That's something you don't see every day. So this is interesting. And they are animating one of my javelineers. Yeah, that's actually a bit of a problem here, because 7 Alliance does have only 1 toughness, so if they can just throw the javelin, that lion's gonna be dead. But the priest, and that's gonna be an interesting one, because you see a lot of mana-hungry things probably in this deck. The priest may be used for sacrificing artifacts, which are then reanimated again. Yeah, this sounds quite interesting. Yeah, and my opponent got a Javelineer of his own, so he can really easily see what's going on here. But the deck currently is a bit of a mystery. This looks really interesting at this point, and a quick checkup on the mana burn issue. That yes, we do have mana burn, so he needs to activate the factory there once, so no damage there. The Crusade for me is really helpful. It prevents the Javelin token being a problem, but it does now mean that the Javeliner is also bigger. That is a 2-2, and I believe trading here would probably be the best for me, because I want to get rid of the Javeliner, that's going to be a problem, and I do know that I have a second Crusade in hand, so yeah, making sure that that Javeliner dies is pretty much the key thing here. Yeah, the priest is a combo piece, clearly, so that would have been good to kill, but priest is also a black card, and I have 8 creatures that have protection from black, so that blackness is going to be a crucial thing here. And my opponent is swinging out with both of the creatures, meaning they do need a lot more mana or more powerful cards in hand, so for now I'm quite safe. So it's time to rebuild my board and get the White Knight in. Yeah, and this is exactly why killing the priest was not that important. Sure, they already have quite a lot of mana, so currently they can get 1 extra, which basically means nothing. But having the 3-3 protection from black creature, that's gonna be a really strong option here. And a Mishra's Workshop. Okay, so the artifact theme is even more clear now. They do have a lot of mana, so now the quick question is, what is their top end? I'm assuming there's going to be Triskelions, then probably Tetravus, and well, we'll just see. Suchi would probably be a quite obvious addition, especially now that it gains 4 mana every time it dies, so that's a clear choice. Land tax for me means that I get to kind of pull all the lands out of my deck. I was stuck on 2 mana at this point, which it's not a problem generally for a White Weenie deck, but you often want to get a 3 or 4 lands eventually in play just so that you can double spell when you need. And of course, 4 mana also means Wrath of God and Armageddon, which are the big haymakers to the end of the curve, especially with the Serra Angel as well. But I do play only 1 angel, so getting that is not something I can rely on, so it's a nice bonus when it happens, but let's see if it does ever. A third land, I can still easily play 1 more without the land tax being an issue, especially that they are being very aggressive with the factory, so that means that I can just swing freely and they're not gonna be losing that yet. And especially now, 2 Crusades in play, that's a 4-4 first strike protection from black creature. That's going to be a huge issue for my opponent. They are going to have a big, hard time getting rid of that. And basically, because they wouldn't even get to kill it with a Suchi, there's an Elopile. Yeah, Elopile is really good if I don't have those Crusades in. So yeah, those are pretty much saving my ass at this point. But now the question is, what's the last card in my opponent's hand, and how do they want to keep going at it? They're at 11 lives, so it's going to take 3 attacks for the knight to actually kill them, and they are dealing 3 damage, also having the Elopile giving them a little bit of a reach, 2 points, dropping me down to 9. So it's 3 swings for me, 3 swings for them, so in that sense we are in an even situation. But I can defend my board much easier than they can. And especially if I happen to draw a second knight, it's going to be like a cakewalk for me. But let's see what my draws are going to be. Playing a land, obvious choice here. Knight goes attacking. I'm going to be playing aggressively, because I do not want to see what the top end is going to be. A Order of Lightbow. Yeah, this is what those knights are for. Having so many protection from black creatures against the black deck, it is extremely difficult to handle. There are no edict effects basically in this format, and cards like the Abyss will not do anything. The artifacts are gonna be the key. Can they bring them in? What's gonna be are there gonna be stuff that's big enough? 4, 7, 8, 9, and there is a Colossus of Sardia. Yeah, that is big enough. And this also immediately explains what the situation is gonna be, because tapping that Priest of Yawgmoth, getting 9 mana out of the Colossus, that's gonna come in handy, and then you can also reanimate it as well. This is really a clever deck, but I believe that I might be an extremely bad matchup for them. So I have creature removal, artifact removal, protection from black, everything already built into my main board, so we probably are gonna be heavily favored here, but let's see, what did I draw and can we punch the last damage in? There's a Chaos Orb, and I believe that might just do it. Can I flip it? Will it hit? Is the game over right now, or is that orb gonna bounce? Aiming for that land tax, and it is clean, so yeah, the Colossus is gone. I gotta open, going in for the 8 damage, I can pump it up to 9. And does my opponent have anything left here? The Elopile can't even kill the Order of Latebar with a Double Crusade. And nope, there is nothing. Weenies take game 1. And we are heading into the second game of the match. My opponent's going first, and a Basalt Baghdad. Now, yeah, this is clear now what they're gonna be doing, because we saw the reanimation Priest of Yawgmoth thing on round game 1, but the Bazaar is obviously a great choice here. Luckily for me, I got the Strip Mine straight away, because that's a card that can lead to a lot of problems. So we're gonna draw 2 and now 3 cards. What are we gonna be seeing here? Maybe some kind of big artifact creatures or something other valuable, but the choice apparently is not easy, so there's not going to be a handful of great stuff at least. And there's the third card. What are they gonna be? Diamond Valley, Trike, and the basic land. Yeah, the Diamond Valley of course fits the team perfectly, because sacrificing all your creatures to just bring them back. This deck looks amazing. Yeah, I really want to see how this plays out, because this is an innovative deck. This is just not something you see every day. And first planes for me, and no creatures. Yeah, my hand isn't the fast one here, but I believe I got a good thing going on in the end. I have a great plan. A Demonic Tutor, bringing up something now. Is it gonna be a reanimation piece or what? And that's gonna be a good question. And for me, I believe that is a second planes. And now, do we go with the Knight, or do we have something more interesting here? A Chaos Orb. Yeah, now this Chaos Orb is always kind of an interesting starting piece, because you could use it as land destruction to tempo out the opponent, but they already discarded 1 swamp for the Bazaar of Baghdad, so I don't know how much mana they do have. There's the Priest of Yawgmoth, and no 3rd swamp, so yeah, technically this could be a good point to use it, but what about my own casting needs, because it always does take a mana to use it. So swords for the priest, making sure they do not get a lot of mana, but yeah, tough call. At this point I can just let this orb stay in play for a little while, and yeah, there's the 3rd swamp, and of course the 2nd priest. So yeah, not blowing up one of their lands may not be that useful here. I think I need to just build my board a little bit and keep that orb around just to get some more damage in when I can just remove a blocker or something like that. Save it for, say, that Colossus of Sardia or that Triskelion that's probably going to be coming right back up. Mesa Pegasus for me is fun, but let's see if there's... Yeah, there's the Animate Dead. That Pegasus is not going to be long for this world. But how am I going to be doing this? Because, of course, removing the Triskelion would be useful. I'm going to be assuming they are going to be blowing up that Mesa Pegasus pretty soon. Yes, they do not want to risk me getting any buff spells, any crusades, or anything like that, so I'd assume it's gonna be shot quite quickly. Yeah, the Trike came back. And now, of course, here's the thing, because the Priest of Yawgmoth is there, they can always just sacrifice the Trike to get 6 mana out of it, and that's something. If they have a second Trike in hand, that's immediately basically a replay for that first one. Shoot it 3 times, sacrifice it, replay another Trike, or maybe just get another reanimation spell and just keep it going. This looks dangerous right now, but let's see how it plays out. Yeah, the Pegasus was the first thing to go. Then they are shooting the Trike points to me, and yeah, they are sacrificing it. Yep. Because of course I couldn't have really done much with the Chaos Orb, because they can always respond by shooting and sacrificing, so I'm not going to be wasting that just to kind of clear them and force their hand, make them do something. And yeah, there's the second Triskelion. That's a really clever plan, and now of course that's not tied to any kind of enchantment, so... Well, the disenchant can always just blow it up, but I have a Wrath of God, so I don't need to use the orb quite yet. But there is a big problem here. I don't have a board. I don't have a single creature here, and that's something I should quickly change. But of course, I have taken a lot of gas out of my opponent at this point. They've lost 2 priests, 2 trikes, and 1 Animate Dead and the Demonic Tutor, and they have a Chaos Orb of their own. Okay, now we're going to be playing chicken here. Both of us have a mana open, so the one who activates first is probably the one who's going to be losing this chicken, but in the end, it's just... those orbs are going to be pretty much activating it and blowing up each other. But who's going to make the first move? Let's just see. The Crusade and the Order of Late, but that's a lot of pressure, so I would assume my opponent does want to get rid of that, but how? They are thinking about the... we're talking here about the Chaos Orb situation, and yeah, they activated theirs first, and in response I'm gonna be activating mine, because I don't want to lose the Order of Late, but I just rather we're gonna be blowing up their orb, and it is a clean hit. The orbs go away, and I get to keep my knight. But that knight may just be enough, because if they don't have anything good, that's going to be dealing quite a lot of damage. 3-2 right now, and there's a land tax for me. Of course, that's not going to be really helpful, because they do have a lot less lands than I have. And there's an Armageddon. Oh, now this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. The Armageddon, just perfect timing here. I got the land tax in, I got Crusade, I got a protection from black creature, and my opponent does not have a land. Yeah, it's gonna take a while, but that knight is probably gonna go all the way if they don't get something good quick. They are gonna be probably needing their workshop at this point, because if they just keep drawing swamps after swamps, it's going to take quite a while before they can do something that can actually get rid of the knight. Sure, if they get an ale pile, well, that's going to be enough. But now, I only have 1 crusade, but I think they're running out of things to do here. And they are in the tank here. They know it just as much as I, that they are in a lot of trouble here. The knight is going in, I don't have my land. I don't actually even probably need that land. I would just let them play the first one, use my land attacks. There's Mishra's Factory. Yeah, that's gonna be blocking once, but I always get to use the first strike ability for the Order of Labor, especially now that I do get my planes in. So that factory is not gonna be enough, especially that they do need a second mana source if they are gonna be using it. So the knight is just dropping them down to 9, that's 3 more hits, and the game is over. Is that a land? Just slow rolling the card. And nope, not a land. Yeah, this is getting out of hand quite quickly. Knights swinging in second planes for me. Oh yeah, and there's a white knight as well. This is pretty much over at this point. They can basically maybe jump block once, but if they didn't draw land now, they're dead already. But yeah, there's a swamp. That factory is gonna be jump blocking, but this might be over in a heartbeat. Yeah, Black Lotus for me, just emptying out cards from my hand. I actually even forgot that they are not yet attacking, they don't get the buff, but I don't think that even matters, because I have a trick up my sleeve here, so none of this is important at all. The game is pretty much already over. And are we getting the... yeah. Activating the factory, and there's the disenchant. Yeah. Blockers are gone. Weenies take the game. That's 2-0. And oh my god, the opponent's hand was all 4 mana stuff. Yeah, the Armageddon was perfect there. And there it is. 2-0 record. That is a great start for the tournament. Yeah, this match was a tough one for my opponent, as I was basically sideboarded in from game 1. Protection from black, creature removal, and disenchants are what I would be sideboarding in if they weren't already there. That being said, my opponent's deck was amazing. Reanimating robots for pings and tokens, that just then quickly sack them for more mana and more robots was absolutely ingenious. I would love to see more games from this deck and see how it would perform in a more suitable matchups. Well, this game was a solid showing of what the white decks can do against artifact builds. Let's keep the momentum going and see how we do next week. Join me again for the third round of the North Star Cup 6, and we'll see how far we can take this deck. Thank you for visiting the Shivan library, and I hope to see you here again.